everybody. Sorry it's been a while since my last video. Just been very busy with life as it is. But now finally I got the chance to sit down, plan out what I'm going to show you guys, and as I promised last time, we're going to go into functions and dictionaries and maybe class inheritance. I'm going to quickly, before going into that video, drop a short video here on changing the layout in Godot. For some reason, this kind of layout is very popular around the world in multiple different user interfaces. Many game engines seem to have this, and some other graphical tools in which you build a user interface that I've used professionally also have this setup, which I've always changed because I find it easier to do it in a different layout. So what I want to do now is put my favorite layout in these kinds of tools, such as a game engine, and I thought I'd show it to you guys before you suddenly see it on some other video. So let's get into it. First, obviously, I'm going to open Godot. So once again, I'll navigate to my starred stuff, and here's Godot 4.03, which we were using last time as well. I'll continue with this one for a while until I upgrade it to a newer one. There is 4.1 point something, I believe, already out, so we're going to be switching to that soon. So to get it, obviously just download it just the way I originally downloaded Godot 4.0, and then just open the app. I mean, you don't need to install it. It's all bundled in this executable. But let's go ahead and open that now. And here we have our hello world. Click there. And now we're here in the engine. Now, as I said, many things, I think Unity's default layout is also somewhat similar to this. And what I mean by what's up with the layout, why don't I like this one? Well, in the center, you have the graphical viewport, viewport as it's called in Godot at least. And here you can, you have the 3D space, you've got your scripts, you've got 2D layouts that we've been playing with. On the left, you have the nodes, the items you're going to adjust and edit. And then for some reason, on the complete opposite side of the screen, you have the inspector and the signals for the node and stuff like this far away from the actual objects themselves. Now, when I'm doing stuff like this, I'd select, all right, let me, change some feature of the counter button. So first I go left, select it, then I go right, do something. Then I'll switch to another thing that I want to edit, and then I'll go right again. And this gets pretty annoying to have to travel so far and not doing anything in the middle most of the time. I just, lay out some things, try some things out, but after that, most of the things happen here in the scene view where I select what node to edit, what object node. Same thing in this case, because of Godot terminology. And then I go here and edit it in the inspector. Now, that gets a bit tedious, so that's why I like to change the layout to have them closer. Now, how do I do this? In Godot, you can't drag and drop these things. Oh, except you can, but you can't put it like in between here. Like, it went nowhere there. I can't, get it placed somewhere here in between, I guess. Oh, let's see. Yeah, it did nothing. It just highlighted that I could drag that, but it didn't move it. And the way that you do it, how I've always done it, is I go to these 3 dots here, where these tabs are. And then from here, you can select where the dock position is. You can also make it floating so that it, hovers around. But I like that they're actually compact and not all around the place. So that way, if I want to move the entire engine window, I can do that. But first, to move things around, I need to move these items on the left further more left. So if I click here, you can see that currently the top ones here it's kind of showing which tab I'm selecting. Here you see this highlighted white, it's the import, and then to the right there's scene. Actually no, I'm changing import's position. I do want to keep scene first left. Yeah, with this you can change the tab's position within its kind of dock box. But I want to get the stuff here on the right, which has the inspector, node, and history tabs, over to this position. And on the right side, because there's nothing on the bottom here, it fills up the entire screen vertically. But to get this here, I first need to move these further left. As you can see, there's boxes here that are empty. So what I do is I select this, and let's see, how did this work? I'm supposed to, there, click. Just click into the place where you want it to. Up, down, I can move it here, and the scene jumps there, but I now want it here. And now you can see there's scene, and then there's import and file system. I think, I don't use import that much, so it makes sense to have import there in the same space as scene behind the tab. File system, I think it looks nice when it's here at the bottom left. I kind of like that layout. So now it looks just as it was before, pretty much. Different width just on this dock area here, but they're actually in different spaces. And now, if I go to the right side to inspector, and I've selected inspector, that's why inspector is the only one that moves, not node. So if I choose node, then it's showing me that I have the middle tab here. But yeah, now I select node and correction inspector and put it here, and now it came out nicely. Now I don't use node that much either, mainly just to look at what kind of signals exist. So I'm going to move that to be in the same space as the inspector and history as well. I think that's nice. But this is what I'm looking for. This kind of layout. I prefer this myself. You guys can obviously choose anything you want, but I wanted to demonstrate how these docks move around here in the engine so that you can choose your own layout, play around with it, and then you won't be surprised in the next video where I'm actually going to be using this layout. Like, dude, what happened? I mean, last time it looked like this, now it looks completely different. What did I do wrong? Is something broken? Everything's fine. I'm just playing around with my own settings. And I haven't actually tried that floating thing, so let's just give it a try here. File system, make floating, yeah. So then I have it here. I can have it like this if you want to. Just for demonstrative purposes, I'm showing this now. And to get it back, I guess you just close it, and it goes back to where it was. As I said, I've never used that feature, but it could be handy, could be nice. Some people like that. I have similar uses of something with floating docks and stuff when I've used some image manipulation programs, such as GIMP, for example. But with Godot, I like to keep everything tight like this. But now what this layout actually allows me to do is I select counter button. I can quickly go without dragging myself all the way to the other end of the screen back and forth when I don't really need to do anything in the middle. Could just get to the properties, test things out much faster, less movement of my hand. For me, that feels more comfortable. And that's it. Once you do those changes, the engine remembers these settings. You don't need to save anything because we didn't really change anything. You can also see that there is no asterisk. So that's the proper term for the so-called star symbol that you see a lot of times. It's also used for multiplication, but the asterisk is nowhere to be seen, which means nothing was modified in these source files, in this scene, or in these scripts, because we didn't touch them. So now I can just go ahead and close it. And now the next time I open it, it'll have the layout that I set up for it. So let's go back here, open Godot again. Open Hello World. And there, voila, we have the layout that we just created. And as I said, do what you want with the layout, have fun with it, make it comfortable for yourself, just like I've made it comfortable here for myself. And yeah, I think we're good to go. Well, actually, there's probably one other thing that I'd like to show. Since we've gotten into changing things around, I guess you can save layouts and load layouts. Oh, cool. I haven't tried that. Let's put save layout, save existing layout. This is the layout. Let's call this my favorite layout. Doesn't really matter what the name is. Just put that. So now if I go to editor layout, now it appeared here. If I select default, it gets the default layout, so you can always get that back. But if you have more layouts, you can actually save them and load them. That's nice. Never really tried that, because once I've done that, it's just, been there. It doesn't go away on its own. But if you really want to make sure that you'll find it quickly, if you changed layouts depending on what you're working with, like if you're working with 3D things, you might want a different layout. If you're working with scripting specifically, you might want a different layout. So there, you can go to editor and save different layouts and then load them. Nice, very cool feature. But what I wanted to show is the editor settings. And in the editor, we have the languages, and then we should have theme here. And this is the default theme, which is blue, which is nice. It goes well with the theme of Godot. But I like something that's maybe a bit darker, a bit more geared towards green. I just like green. Maybe you've noticed my face here is also green. So let's go and select something that is green. There's you can change things. There's breeze, dark, light, solarized, dark, black, OLED. They used to have, at least in Godot 3, there was an alien preset. So I wonder if there's anything that's similar to that. Let's have a look. So if I change to breeze dark, there, now it changed. The colors took a while, but it's a bit darker. See, Godot 2, I think this was a very gray default Godot 2 theme. Well, not that gray, but a bit purplish, somewhat gray, yeah. Then there's completely gray here. Gray is actually pretty nice. Keeps it dark. And as I said, I don't fancy it being so blue, personally. Let's try Solarized Dark. This might be nice. Okay, so this is pretty nice. This is green, like I mentioned. It's still dark, but it's got that green accent there. And I actually have something like this in some of my other editors that I use for other things, like on VS Code that I use for work. And then you can choose custom. So here the base color is like this green tint that we have here, and the accent color is this blue you see here. I can change that as well. Draw extra borders. We'll probably make things thicker or have another border around things. Yeah, you can see extra borders came around these boxes. And take that off, and then you can save and load custom themes. Just here you can load a custom theme. Maybe there's a save button somewhere. I haven't really used custom things. I've just chosen something that's, geared towards what I want. Solarized Dark works nicely. I might actually want to change my accent color to something a bit sharper on the green side. So let's take that. I think that's a nice one. And then, yeah, now it's got like green and these accents that were blue just a while ago, like this 2D, and these edges here, now it's green. So now it's more what I like personally. And I mean, make it pink or blue or red or yellow, whatever you want. This is the place where you can play around with. And I think this base color is pretty nice, so I'll leave that as it is. Okay, let's see if I can save. Now it shows it's custom because I made adjustments. And let's see if there's a way to save this. Okay, what's this? Open a file. So yeah, you can open like Godot themes and stuff like this. But don't know why it's saying that, but let's save and restart. Let's hope that the theme stayed. And there. All right, so now I've got this greenish theme here with green accents. Let's see what the script looks like. Oh, it looks like it's working well. That's cool. Oh, this is nice. Distraction-free mode, so you can get the inspector out and all the other docs out when you're coding. Sometimes you might want that. But all right, I am going all over the place now as I'm just getting excited from exploring. But that was what I wanted to show first. Changing the dock positions, saving a new layout, loading layouts, and then changing your theme. And this is what you'll see the next time in the video where I'm going to show and teach about functions. So that's what I'm going to teach first out of the 3 topics that I promised last time, which were functions, dictionaries, and classes, class inheritances. I think I'll save classes and those things for later, but I'll cover functions next because we've already used those and we're going to need a lot more of them as we start building a proper application or a demo or skeleton version of a proper application. Something that does something sensible, but it's not really original in idea, but useful things to learn. That's all from me today. Thanks for watching. Hope this made life a bit more comfortable for you when using Godot. And in the next video, I'll have the latest version of Godot in use. And in that one, there may be some features that aren't available in this 4.0.3, so download the latest version of Godot when you get to that video. Just my recommendation, or at least the same one. I'll show you how you can do that when I get to it in that video. All right. Have a nice rest of the day. Bye-bye.